We are the Foreigners. I'm Cynthia Mills,
I'm Zoe Wang.
My name is Marie Morgan.
and we are going to do our presentation concerning our Be the Match project. For our Be the Match presentation, we did have a particular process that we used so we would help stay on track what we were doing. Basically, with our plan, we started out with our group meetings and had weekly meetings, so we would all have a chance to voice our ideas and suggestions on what we would like to do and how we would like to do it, and also make our plans on who was going to be able to do what. So first of all, Marie was our event planner and coordinator. She was our contact for Danny at Be the Match. So she was in contact with Danny to make sure that we had all the materials that we would need for our project and any other suggestions that she had in order to try and make our project a success. Also, Zayu, he was one of our booth helpers and recruiters at the table. He also helped with his ideas and suggestions on our project as well. I was considered the documenter, so I kept notes for our group on things that we were trying to do. Also helped with keeping our group on track as far as timelines, making sure that we're having our meetings when we're supposed to and have all the materials that we need for our project. And also helped out with the booth on our event date. Grant was our UC athletic, coordinator. He turned in a letter to request that we have our booth outside of the spring meeting, or spring game, I should say. And so he was our contact for the athletics, which wound up being really good because Danny had stated she's been trying to do something with the UC athletics football team and hadn't previously been successful with that. So she was very excited that we were able to get the permission for that. So she was able to be with us for a while on that day. We also had Zach for a little bit before the project finalized. We had hoped that he had been able to be with us, and unfortunately he wasn't able to. So with the four of us, we continued on with what we had to do. Also, in addition to getting with Danny, she did have a training for us, and we did that the day before our project. We were hoping to do it a little bit sooner, but with her schedule and our schedule, it just worked out where we were going to do our training the day before. So she brought all the materials that we needed. We really didn't need much of anything else. She had banners, all of the samples for taking swabs, forms, just everything that we needed. We didn't have to bring anything. She said she had everything for us, which was great. Also, too, outside of the spring game, where we were set was up by closer to Edwards on that street there. So we weren't quite at the main opening where students would be coming in, but we got a lot of the traffic from the parking garage. So we did have some people who did come by our table. And as Zayu's going to, talk about, it was a little challenging with the weather, but we did get some people to sign up, and other people take information with them to look on the Be the Match website. So that was a great thing. So we were very happy with our project.
In terms of challenges, the weather on that Saturday was really, really harsh. First, it was windy. Everything on that table were flying around just because of wind. And our team members had to take everything back again and again and reorganize them and make sure that they were stable on the table. On the other hand, people who were trying to register had to be very, very careful just because of the wind, especially for the cotton swabs. They were easily to be flying around, so our team members were responsible for assisting them to get everything done. Because sometimes the weather was strong enough to fly the chairs away. In the meanwhile, the wind was was with cold temperature. The chill can just like the cold weather all can make our team members shake all the time. On the Saturday morning, many times the kids just want to get candies from us. We had to choose candies. It's really hard for us to concentrate on our project, and really easy for us to get distracted. Also, not at that game, not a lot of students were interested in that the BTM project, and so there were not a lot of students' bodies at that game. Instead, there are some 30 to 40 year old people who were really interested. Actually, at the game, too many people are shouting and making some noise. It's really noisy for us to communicate and interact with our people who are really interested. So it's kind of like an environment that distracted us. Also, on that day, only 3 members who were really able to come to our project, so it's pretty hard for 3 people to handle everything.
Once again, we held a donor drive at the UC spring game. I was actually part of that spring game, and we had 4 major accomplishments that came out of the donor drive held on that day. The first one was that we registered 4 people at the drive. 3 of them were Caucasian, and 1 was African American male, and so we added 1 to the minority group. Secondly, we also handed out some pamphlets for people with interest. And so there was more people that didn't actually register right there at the donor drive, but had the pamphlet, and if had any type of questions or anything, or just felt like registering at home, they were able to do that as well. Secondly, we spread awareness. At the donor drive, we had the donor drive at a venue at the spring game that not a lot of people were familiar with, Be the Match, and so having at that spot specifically allowed us to reach out to a different group of people. I would say more like sport related people, I guess, and let us spread awareness amongst them. And third accomplishment we had was team building. We had different leadership styles coming in as a group. Individually, we wanted to do things our way, and at the beginning, you could say that was a challenge for us. We kind of bumped heads on some things, but down the road and throughout everything after the donor drive, we compromised on some things, and we allowed each other. We were able to adapt to each other's leadership style, and that helped us realize what worked, what didn't work, with who and what. Lastly, the last accomplishment we had was we built a networking bridge with UC Athletics. Since I played football, I was able to be sort of like the inside man and reach out to our marketing office upstairs in the athletic building. I talked directly to the head of football operations and got the okay to have the donor drive at the spring game. And even though I was playing, I made sure that the marketing team had set up a table for us, ready to go prior to our even arrival at the spring game. Danny had tried previously to get in contact with UC Athletics. She thought it would be a good idea to also have donor drives along with the sport teams, and she wasn't very successful at getting feedback from the athletic team. So having the donor drive at the spring game and having built that network and that connection with head of football operations and the marketing team in the athletic building, it allowed us to be able to come again and have even more donor drives with UC Athletics into the future.
So during this process, we learned a lot of essential things. We learned about teamwork, networking, and community outreach. Teamwork, we learned how to work as a team. We learned how to mesh together different opinions and leadership styles, and just how to collaborate all together and have a good outcome. Networking, as Grant already mentioned, we had some connections with UC Athletics that were not previously had with the Be the Match organization, and we also connected with Danny, and she just gave us a lot of different insight on how to run a successful drive and the benefits that come from people registering. So more specific to the class, we learned some things about servant leadership. In Pillar 4, it talks about community and team. So we had to work as a team, and we had to meet our deadlines for different projects. We had to make sure we were on time for the donor drive, and we just had to make sure everything meshed together to get it right. And that also just goes into the community piece, and the community piece can also go beyond the classroom, and it talks about the Cincinnati community and the Be the Match community and how we really brought the two together at the spring game, because I've noticed that many students don't attend the spring game, but it's more about families and future recruits, so people who had probably no previous knowledge about the Be the Match had some type of information. We also can talk about conflict, which is from Pillar 4. We lost a team member during the process, but that didn't stop us from continuing our work and meeting our deadlines. And there was also a conflict between opinions and leadership styles and just how we did things and how we decided we were going to execute things. But at the end, it all came together, and we all did our part, and we all had a very great product. Pillar 6 talks about adaptability. We had to adapt to losing a member. We had to adapt to the weather at the donor drive because it was very windy. And as you mentioned, things kept flying around, and we had to make sure we had everything in place and everything had a good sound structure so we could continue with the project and with the drive. And then Pillar 6 also talks about greater good, and that's just being a part of the Be the Match organization, even if it was just for this semester. It's something I feel like we all know more about now. We could tell other people about it, even if we don't want to be donors ourselves. We now have the information to give back to the community and give people that information so that they could possibly be a donor in the future.
This is our table that we had set up outside of the spring game before everybody got there. This was before all the wind started blowing everything around, so everything was nice and neat and set up and looked great. But unfortunately, by the end, it didn't quite look that way. But we were very happy with what we had, and Danny, like I said, brought all the materials that we needed for the project. And we also had, as we mentioned before, that we have 4 people who signed up, and we were very happy that they came and signed up with us. So we had a couple here, a lady here, and an African-American gentleman here. And actually, they sought us out. They saw that we were having the booth, and they were very eager to come up and sign up. So it wasn't like we had to coax. They all basically had said that they've heard of the organization before and always wanted to do it and wanted to jump on the opportunity to be able to sign up with Be the Match. So that was a great thing. Also, we had some other people who weren't quite ready to make that decision, as we stated before. But the great thing is that they took some pamphlets with them that they could go to the website and learn more information about the organization and how to become a donor.